Welcome to another episode of the Planet Coaster series, and we're going to be starting off by trying to make this ATM make more sense in the setting. Here I realized that as I was logging off the game last time, I accidentally clicked the refurbish that ride because it was already broken down, so I was like, well, alright, but that's why all those people were flooding out like they were. So I started out by looking through the Western themed stuff, looking for like these crates and stuff to make it blend into the stacks of barrels and sacks and that behind it. And so I found that big barrel. I really liked this boat, and I considered using it on the other half of the island, but it didn't really fit the theme and it wouldn't really make sense over there. So as much as I liked it, I gave up on it. But we're also going to be finding other things to stack on top of that crate, but we're gonna have to switch over to the pirate stuff before we can do that. And I found this tiny barrel, which I didn't know we had, and then one of the big ones to cover up the majority of the ATM back, and then we'll be copying another one of the little tiny barrels over to cover that corner, and then I scoot the rest of this stuff up to it to kind of make it all flow together. And I kind of like the way it looks. I mean, it still stand out a ton, but at least it's not just sitting on its lonesome in the middle of nowhere for no reason, you know? So it's got a little something. And then here I'm going to be like trying to plan where a path goes around the island, but quickly forget and move on. And so here I'm putting a fence in between the two queues, which is this little guy right here. I'm going to decide it looks nice, but it's not quite all I want. So then I started wondering if we had bamboo, and we definitely do from the jungle pack. So that's what we put between the two queues, which is really nice because it really covers the two lines. I don't know what I'm checking out in the stats here, but there you go. And then because the bamboo, like, it doesn't really fit right away, so I spent some time peppering little clumps of bamboo throughout the rest of the park so that that one against the lines doesn't really look odd. I really like the look of the bamboo, so I plan on using it quite a bit, and so I was just trying to make it look like it made sense on the rest of the island. So I just put in little bits here and there as we see fit, and again, I'll be adding more as we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit more so the bamboo doesn't look just lonely, I guess, almost. I add some of that little bit of the grass plant that grows across the ground and some rocks. And then I'm going to carry over and work on this little space between the entering and the exiting line so that there's a little bit of something there. There's a lot of cool plants that we can use on this island with the combination of the pirate themed stuff and the jungle stuff, so that's nice. I don't know if I ever come back and add something there, but it's real empty and I feel like something should be there, so I don't know if you guys have a suggestion. Otherwise, I guess I'll just see how it goes. Then I decided to try out that sandstone path, I guess, that looks a little more official, a little more professional than just sand, but some places it looked nice, but like this picnic area, I think it looks really weird. I think it just draws attention to the weird shapes and movements of it, whereas it's not really noticeable. But like around this water area in the middle, I think it looks nice. So that's a bit unfortunate. Like, I like it here, but not in other places. So I'm actually going to end up removing it all here in a little bit. It just doesn't look right. Maybe I'm used to the sand. If you guys think it looks nice, we can try it again, but I wasn't feeling it at that moment at the very least. So we removed it, and I even considered doing it just on the side that isn't the pirate side and making that area look nicer, but again, it just really stands out. Maybe it won't once we've added more decoration and stuff to that side to make it make sense. But for now, I think I'll be going with this. I wonder if I change that queue on the Sea Insanity, I think it's called. It looks like it's still the sandstone, but I think I prefer this wood blocks that the other line has, so if not, I will have to change that back the next time I'm in the game. I don't think that anchor is going to stay there, by the way. That was just, this is a cool item I want to use somewhere, so I set it out. I'm going to do that again here in a second with like a big old tentacle. I considered using that boat, but then I realized that's what's out in that wreck area, and it would look kind of weird to have one in the water and then a full one some distance away. I did consider using this mermaid as part of a fountain in that little area, but it seemed like it would make more sense if she was what marked the beginning of the pirate area. So she's kind of like a symbol of the area. And so I move her into this little pond that you can see right as you walk this way. And I'm trying to find something that makes it look like she's not just floating on the water. So we find this column eventually, stick it down there so it looks like it has some sort of foundation and like where it would make sense. And then I'm going to be adding some lily pads and stuff, which are very difficult to tell if you're placing them on the water, under the water, floating. You just don't even know. But we add a couple of those, and then I consider trying some like ivy and other things that I've done in the past to kind of make the water look more alive. I don't know, but it just doesn't work on this one. Where I used it in the past, the water was quite murky, and it was supposed to look overgrown and unkept, so it didn't really work here. So we start adding some stuff along the edges to kind of make it look like it flows in and around the area, and I think we're going to move and put some bubbles so it looks like she's blowing bubbles out of her face, kind of like blowing kisses but bubbles. And they'll be she's blowing them kind of at the path so that as you walk past them you see her. And so I think that looks really good, especially with like the sunset coming across on her and everything like that. Then I move on to trying to get this tentacle to make sense. The reason we're sitting here for so long is I am checking to see as it moves about if it's hitting anything and colliding and cutting through stuff. So there's a lot of little movements that's kind of hard to tell just because it's flailing around. And then I consider putting the rest of that creature's body, so it's like a kraken, but it seemed really intense behind this ride. You know, it's like just this little tiny ride and this big excessive creature in the background, so I considered putting it off in the distance a bit more, but I think that's something I will have to deal with in a later time. So then we move on to trying to figure out what colors I want for the ride. I kind of wanted to match the color of this guy, the little kraken dude. So I don't know if I go and change the color or if I stick with this a little more vibrant color. We'll have to see, but I did want it so that the octopus's head was facing towards the path and everything, but that meant that the person who's running the ride is way far back towards the river, but that's where the maintenance guy needs to go to do the inspections and to repair, and the further away that is from the path, the longer your people have to wait and the less happy they are. So I like to have that as close as possible to the path, but it just wasn't going to work. So it's kind of in the corner, and as is, once the ride's moving, that octopus actually spins with it. So it was kind of like I was worried for not a whole lot. Here I'm trying to find out or figure out a good way to have this path. I'm still not 100% sure on it. I really wanted to have the priority pass, but I wasn't sure what the best way to have that go along with the path would be. So I'm not really sure what I even end up deciding, but I zigzag around. I think I might have it so that, yeah, it will cut into this path right there. So they skip one whole loop, I guess, not a loop, but like a bend. So they get there a little faster. Again, it's not like the priority pass ever gets them really far ahead, which is probably why it doesn't really work for me at most times, why most people don't think it's worth it, but it's the best I can do without making the queues like really, really long, which I don't like doing. So finally, we'll be moving this big main path around the whole island. I consider going through this little fenced area, but then I realized they kind of set it up so that it would go through this tunnel, which I think is fantastic. So I changed my mind and put it there. Try to make this path kind of moving along. We could have access to more rides and stuff. We could also use that tunnel because there's like a door there. I could replace it and put like a shop there, which might be a good idea. I wonder if I can change that path. Anyway, this path is a pain in the butt. Like, I spend so much time trying to get it so it's not colliding with whatever in the world it was colliding with. I don't even know. And the, like, adjusting the angle of it, the slope, was so extreme. It would be like on the ground or well above everything else. Those were your two options. I wonder if there is somewhere where I could have changed that or adjusted the snap. I think I even turned the snapping off, and the only thing that adjusted was the side to side opposed to the up and down. So eventually I moved the exit point to the side, it looks like, and then I was able to place the path, I think. I don't know if I like this spot because there is that slope, and I can't do anything about it, and I think it looks really weird. So again, I move it and mess with it until it finally makes a decent path. We're just adjusting this palm tree so it's not quite in the way, but it still looks nice. And then I realized that all of these are floating for some reason, and like all over the island, anywhere there was any kind of slope, everything on it was floating. So I went ahead and fixed that, and I do cut some of it out because I was like, you guys don't need to see this. Welcome to the live portion of the video, as it were, I guess. Let's see, we do have that guy. What kind of paths can we do on this? Can we do the sand one? I don't think that one makes sense over this bridgey bit, though. Let's see. So if we go to the natural... Yeah, it's just taking my money and not actually changing any of it. But we could do something like the sand up to that part. Is there a difference between that one, that guy? Okay, so the railing is what's different. Let's go ahead. Do we want the railing on it for the exit? Might as well, I guess, right? The hooks are a little weird. They seem dangerous. Like, you'd walk past it, it would hook. Like, if you have a purse or a coat or something like that, it would hook you. Who knows? The skew would be fun because you get to stand by this thing, but we don't have a whole lot of decoration otherwise, I don't think. What do we got? We are at 67%, so that's with this little boat and this guy. I like where this boat is attached. I did consider moving it closer to the queue. Maybe we should move this up a little bit so that it still looks more like it's part of the line. That looks kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, we got this guy over here. He pops up, waves, pokes stuff, sinks back down. Did I get the color right? Kind of. Probably could be a little more saturated, but I'm good with it for now. What else do we do? So this is what this guy turned out looking like, which is good stuff. Kind of should... I feel like I should cover that corner more. Like, this barrel didn't have to go over as much as it did. Something I noticed while I was doing the voiceover. Move it a little more centered and cover it entirely. And I think that looks better, yeah. I like that much better. The other thing we could do is maybe lay this guy on its side. Oh lord. Oh lord, my cat is spunky. There we go. So we'll get this guy. Whoa, that was not the axis I thought I was adjusting. Let's go like that. There's no reason everything needs to be nice and neat, right? So we'll get that guy on its side. There we go, and then we'll scoot this one so it's not merged. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Like that. Alright. Alright, then we finished that. Here's what our little mermaid looks like as we walk by. She looks so lovely. I like it as kind of a marker of where you're entering to this area. Though this bush probably is not the best location. Let's try maybe moving that over, not into a torch, maybe? Just a thought. Like so. Oops. Let's bring it down into the ground some. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. And then I feel like we should have something here. Maybe flowers? Should probably save this until I need to do another time lapse, you know? Just a thought. Let's put another bench right there, maybe. Maybe make some garbage cans. Garbage cans might be... I don't like the look of it right next to her, though. A nice little sitting spot's good, but let's leave it like that. And I'll probably put some flowers or something along those lines. I'm trying to decide if I like the tiki torches at the weird angles that they're at, or if I feel like they're kind of extreme. I think the fact that I'm adjusting this kind of answers my own question. Like, I don't mind it at a little bit of a slope. Kind of makes it look a little more natural, but the ones that are like drunk, they could sober up a little bit, I think. Let's get this guy up some. So let's take a look at our management part of this park. Being I am leaving it running all of the time, I should know how people are doing. So how is our demographic and all of that? People are hungry and thirsty, but pretty much everything else is well taken care of. Let's see, we've got good things for the top 5, but we don't have enough money for it to go on the Sea Insanity. The queues seem to be a bit long, and the stuff is busy, and the litter again. I always feel like they're complaining about litter, but I can never find it. I never know what litter they're talking about. Yeah, I can see why they'd wait. We should open this guy. I've already tested it and set it up to the sequence that I think works the best. Let's see, what price? $4 is probably a bit cheap. So 4 times 3 is 12? Like, I was so confident in myself when I started to type it, I was like, maybe it's not. Maybe I don't know how to math. So hopefully it's 12 so I don't look silly. I think that'll cover us for a bit. And that'll get even better once we finish off the prestige bit. Wonder what we can add to the area. This is really sad, by the way. There's a bunch of coffins here. So that's real sad. I can't move this thing. I could cover it though. Let's move this guy and cover that. What that does is it plays like sea sounds, so like lake sounds. There we go. Now I don't have to see it, which is nice. I wonder if I should add anything to this. It's a little weird the lights are still on back here, but that's not something that can be adjusted in any way. But yeah, these coffins are really sad. Trying to decide if I want to keep them or not. I mean, it certainly plays to the story of this whole setup, that's for sure. This is where they're camping out. We could get more pirates to put over here, I think. Good lord, it is loud over here. I always forget to adjust the, I prefer the music at like 50% of the volume. So I can't hear it from here. You know, there's a bunch of rides. I don't need to hear multiple rides worth of music. This one doesn't have any music. I should probably do something about that. I wonder if it affects the prestige in any capacity. Let's get that one down to 50%. So that I can hear it if I get up close, but for the most part I don't have to listen to it. Especially because I've built around one of these in the past, and so now I find the song very annoying. The other thing I really want to do is try to find a way to hide all of this vibrant red, but I don't know a good method of doing it. They do have some round walls and stuff, but it's for a significantly smaller, it's for like towers and stuff on castles, more than it is for something this shape. So I could try to make something out of like a fence that would go around it, but I think getting the angles would be really awkward, so I haven't decided how to try to mask that, except for maybe some plants. Seems like a lot of work though, and it would look kind of excessive, you know, like if there was just a ton of plants right here. I do like all these boxes floating in the water. It's also a very good detail. It'll be interesting to try to connect to this bridge and head on out this direction to what I plan to have as like the jungle exploring area. Have like maybe a boat ride. Here, there's another one of these. Still think it would be, oh, this one's locked. Ew. Is this stuff locked? Yeah. Even that's locked. It's kind of unfortunate. Because I like leaving them for the most part, but utilizing them in my own way. But when they lock it like that, I can't do that. Is this one locked? No. So I could edit it and put a shop here and a shop here. Oh yeah, it's like boarded up as if it should be a shop. So maybe that's something we should consider. But there's no rides over here at the moment, so we'll just go ahead and leave that open as a reminder that I want something there. And then what else should we be paying attention to? Our notifications maybe. Too many people, too many guests. We've had some theft, but I don't think that there's anything you can do to avoid that. People are just going to be that way. What a beautiful place. Why, thank you. I've worked very hard on it. So, yeah, we could start putting the cameras around, but they're kind of expensive. I guess that doesn't really matter. We're making quite a bit of money at the moment, I think. If we go into finances and August, we've made a profit. We're making a profit of 4,000. We made 5,000 last month, so I think it's good. Wait, a profit. Yay! It's exciting. Again, it feels like cheating how useful it is to know the proper setups for these rides. But yeah. So I think that's going to be it for this episode. I will finish checking out on like the staff and everything. Doesn't look like there's anyone super unhappy. Ooh, except for these guys. But they haven't been leveled up and I don't think their money's right. So I will take care of these guys off screen. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.